They say on the tour of Corsica that the only straight bit of tarmac on the island is the runway at Ajaccio Airport. You can certainly believe it if you drive on the winding roads banked by perilous sheer drops that cross this Mediterranean island. On paper, it's quite a short event and held entirely on tarmac, but the road surface is coarse and bumpy, and don't forget those mountain drops. Words like unforgiving are often applied to Corsica, with good reason.
Hello there and welcome back once again to some more WRC. Today we're continuing on Let's Play, and this is episode 12. In today's episode we are taking a look at the French Rally, aka the PlayStation 2 Rally de France, on the island of Corsica. It's going to be a tarmac rally once again like Italy was last time around. Let's hope we can keep our momentum going. Let's go. Alrighty, the good old Rally of Corsica. I'm imagining this is pretty much going to be the Italian rally, but a little bit more technical and shorter stages. Corsica, pretty small island off the coast of France. The last time I've been there was on Euro Truck Simulator. So, yeah, I know this is an awkward place on Euro Truck where usually the high-paying jobs around France and Italy end up taking you through Corsica, but I never really want to go there because I just don't like the ferries, and I like being on motorways and stuff, and Corsica's doesn't really have one of those on account of the fact that it doesn't really need it. But yeah, it's Corsica, and I'm trying to remember what the Italian island here is called. It's completely escaping me for some reason. It was Corsica, and then Corsica's the top island, and then the island underneath it is owned by the Italians, so that's essentially the way it works. Like I said, I've never been personally. I've been close, I've been to France 3 times, I've just not been to Corsica. I can't say I really thought much of France though, I'll be honest. Don't get me wrong, the last time I was there I was like, God. I don't even think it was this decade. I could be wrong though. Well, of course it wasn't this decade, but I mean like the previous decade. I think it has been more than 10 years. I can't say it was anything to write home about. I'll be honest. I'm not really it's alright. It's a nice country. The Renault Twingo's a cool car. But yeah, France as a country just doesn't really interest me all that much, I'll be honest. The only island sort of central, or the only place central Europe I actually would really want to go is Italy, as I get a voice crack. But other than that, I can't say I'm not much of a tourist person, you know. There's a few places I'd sort of like to see maybe, but I'm not going to like spend any of my own money going to them if I can avoid doing so, you know what I mean? I'm just not much of a... I don't really like paying for experiences. It doesn't really do anything for me, you know. I like to have something sort of physical that I can like touch and use and is actually useful to me, other than spending, you know, money on an experience. Maybe it's the reason my life's so sad and lonely. Who knows? Anyways, that was a dusty old rally. We actually lost quite considerably to Macklin and Burns on that one though, so. First stage was a bit of a nightmare apparently, even though that felt relatively quick, question mark. It felt about as good as any other tarmac stage I've done in this game, but apparently I was horribly down on Burns and Macklin, Sainz, Gronholm, Didier, Ford driver. Okay. Still a lot to play for though. I don't particularly see this as done. I think we're going to win anyway. Also, one thing to quickly mention and get out of the way. Oh look, PlayStation 2 advertising. I think this is the first time I've actually seen the sponsors advertising in the rally itself. Speaking of stuff I might have missed though, that's actually turned out to be a relatively decent segue. I did notice, having played it to get a thumbnail, that I was actually wrong about Rally Safari. There was actually animals in it. There were zebras. They're halfway in the ground, but there were zebras on that course, so I can confirm they do exist. Unfortunately, I've not got the thumbnails for New Zealand as of the recording of this, so I cannot confirm whether I could drive through a cow or not. What I can say is in Africa I accidentally drove into a person and they were very solid, so yeah, I'm imagining if I drive into a cow it'll just sort of dead stop the car, maybe give us some damage, so yeah, don't hit animals or wildlife in your rally car. I think in general it's a bad idea just because it's unnecessary damage. Unless it's like a really light person or you hit someone like softly. You can get away with that. Or if it's like a body part, you know, body parts don't really stop cars or do any damage to them. Do damage to the person, just not the, you know, ask any Group B fan from Brazil or South America in general. Or just any Group B fan, you know, the rally fans that are mad enough to put their hands out into moving cars and stuff, you know. It doesn't really stop the car. It just sort of stops your growth as a human being, because you're missing a limb. I might have been slightly wrong about this Corsica rally. It actually is a little bit sort of... I mean, it doesn't feel it all that much, but the actual terrain and stuff on the ground looks a lot rougher than Italy. It's almost like Spain was like really smooth and nicely cared for, as apparently the Spanish road network is. Italy was a little bit sort of 50-50, and this rally is really quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Quite uncared for. I think I'm losing a fair bit of time by not sticking entirely to the track as well. I'm used to just being able to drive anywhere. I'm actually... Apparently this rally is actually slightly challenging, because in 2 stages I'm not completely decimating the competition. Again, I'm not... Well, he says as he gets 6 seconds over on Mackinnon. Who knows, this might be the first rally we actually lose slightly. Don't have any money on that, but there's a potential. 50 left 3. I don't know why I'm actually focusing on this. We're coming up to the finish now though, which is nice. Okay, we're just up on Mackinnon. Fair bit up on Burns though. If we might lose out to... Mind you, Mackinnon probably will lose a load of time to Burns at some point though, judging by the way this game usually goes. We shall see it though, could be wrong. Solberg, Mackinnon, Burns, Gronholm, Ericsson's back up here though. So we are 4 seconds down on Mackinnon. Burns is up here though with us, which is good because again, more Subaru points, which is always a good thing. Alrighty, we have got some Vane.
3, 2, 1, go.
I am really tired all of a sudden. I am definitely... There is going to be 2 episodes recorded today, the last one and this one, and that's apparently it, because, yeah, I felt pretty alright, and then I got suckered into the whole video issue, so hopefully we finish this off tomorrow. Again, 2 episodes shouldn't be too bad. The nice thing with WRC 1 is you can pretty much count on all the stages to be sort of a relatively consistent length. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, Italy was fairly long. But for the most part, these stages last between like 20 and 30 minutes, whilst the next few games in the series can be a little bit sort of random in how long they end up taking. For example, in WRC 2, I believe the opening Monte Carlo rally is actually about an hour long. all in. Well as in this game, you know, it's a nice 20-minute romp. So yeah, again, I personally for me, WRC 1 is probably better than WRC 2, at least in terms from a gameplay perspective. WRC 2 probably my least favourite, but I will be playing through it because WRC 2 actually does have some pretty cool stuff about it. And again, as much as I say it's my least favourite, I still like WRC 2 a hell of a lot. I actually think it's a pretty darn good game, don't get me wrong. I'm not a huge fan of some things they did in terms of the handling and difficulty of that game. Getting all slowdown, that's not the video, that's the actual game itself. To be fair, my PS2 has been on for a long time at this point, so yeah, not quite sure what that's all about. I haven't really experienced much slowdown in terms of this game. It could just be, you know, tarmac and a rainy stage. And to be honest with you, in terms of sort of graphical, I guess Corsica might actually be the most graphically demanding rally so far, because there is so many sort of little stress cracks and stuff on the tarmac. Combine that with the rain and stuff, who knows? It could actually be the most technically demanding of all the rallies in this game. We are up on Mackinnon though, which is good. I could really do with Burns dropping Mackinnon in one of these stages. How long? I think I've got 4 seconds to make up on Mackinnon, if I remember rightly. So this stage is definitely a lot more my bag though. Or at least it feels it anyway. Last stage was pretty good as well though, to be fair. If we can get lucky like we did in it, because I'd say lucky. In Italy, even if we was doing bad, that last stage was really very easy. So if it can give us like a night stage or something like that, which also turns out to be pretty straightforward, easy stuff, we should be able to walk it. Yeah, but we'll have to see. Hairpins in this game you can take really quick, because you, unlike in quite a lot of WRC games, especially sort of Dirt Rally 2.0 and even the later ones of this game, you know, you don't really have to rip handbrake to get around or to get around the hairpins. You just sort of throw the car in and let the torque deal with the rest of it. So, or at least that's my way of dealing with most of the problems this game seems to be throwing at me. Okay, good. We are definitely up on Mackinnon. That was a pretty good stage, all things considered. So that's stage 3 or stage 4? We'll find out in a second. Stage 3, okay. Mackinnon, Ericsson up to 3rd. Okay, Burns, Gronholm, Ford driver. We are very slightly up on Mackinnon. Burns isn't really an issue anymore. Oh well. Stage numero 4. Alrighty. Stage number 4. Condition seems to have cleared up.
3, 2, 1, go.
Although this does look like it's probably going to be a more sort of twistier stage. As long as we can keep our momentum up though, we should be good. Again, the real hope, I'm kind of surprised the Peugeots aren't doing much better in this stage. Again, you know, Peugeots are much more at home sort of tarmac rallies. It's not so much a rally that you'd expect the Imprezas and Evos to be good at. But apparently, you know, it does seem to be the slightly bigger four-wheel drive car. I'd say four-wheel drive, everything's four-wheel drive here. But it seems to be the slightly bigger cars are actually doing pretty well here, when they're usually their home is gravel rallies, but this one actually seems to be pretty good for these cars. I like Gronholm's inferred saying that. But usually the Evos and stuff like that are much better at the gravel rallies. And tarmac's more home for the Fords and the Peugeots, but no, apparently in this rally it is sort of acting as if it would be a standard gravel rally. Even the Hyundai is doing pretty well. Although the Skoda isn't. The Skoda is sort of the ultimate in the big car. Usually, I believe in real life Safari was the hunting ground for the Skoda, but that was more a reliability thing. Because I think that was the one thing the Skoda had going for it, is it was actually a pretty reliable bit of kit because it was so big. It didn't really get bogged down with damage, and I think the actual mechanicals of that car were pretty solid as well. The Fabia I can't really speak to, because I don't really know a whole lot about the WRC Fabia. The only thing I really know about the funny thing with I mean, the Octavia is kind of a meme, but the Fabia probably should have actually done fairly well in WRC. You know, it's a good size, 4-wheel drive, 300 brake horsepower, and of course Skoda's got massive success in WRC 2 and S2000 nowadays. So the fact that that car did not do better than it did is quite a anomaly. We are really losing time in this stage. We might get beaten in this rally. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner, but yeah, no, this was a pretty challenging one, because again, because the gravel's so poor and the roads are actually quite desolate, there's a lot of dirt on the sides of the road, which does slow the car down. And that seems to be really slowing us down in this sort of rally, so maybe Mäkinen will have this, because Mäkinen has been performing consistent as well. You know, on quite a lot of these rallies, one driver will do really well, and then he'll just get pipped, and then it sort of becomes a sort of tale of two drivers. Well, as this one, sort of Burns was challenging slightly at the start, but Burns is gone now. I mean, hell, he's being beaten by Hyundais, so yeah, this really is a battle between me and Mäkinen, apparently. I bet Mäkinen's ending the race with a lot less dust on his car than I am. Never mind, we're 8 seconds up on him. Alright, cool. Apparently we had a really good last 2 sectors. Yeah, wow, okay. Scratch everything I just said. Then again, we could do pretty poor in the last one, who knows. Mäkinen, Burns, Ford driver, Didier and Ericsson. So we are 8 seconds up on Mäkinen for the rally, and everyone else is just sort of a million miles away. Alright, all comes down to stage number 5. Can we keep our lead over Mäkinen, or will we finally get beaten? Oh good, it is a night stage, that does actually benefit us. Alright. I won't be beaten till I'm eaten, I won't be eaten till I'm beaten. If you can name what that's from. I don't know, I'll give you a $5. That is an obscure reference to something. An obscure reference to something crap, actually, I don't even know. Oh, yeah, I don't, that's a vague memory from childhood, that one. From some very, very awful, I'm not even going to say what it's from, actually, because then I'll owe someone a $5. Only to the first person that guesses that, by the way, and don't use Google. Don't be a wanker. Maybe I won't give a $5 to whoever guesses it. I'll buy you some, no, I'll gift you some virtual racing books on raceroom.com. Or VPR, I think that's what they call it in that game. I know most people these days would probably want iRacing coin, but I prefer Raceroom. I think my iRacing account actually expires in 2 days. I tried getting into iRacing, I played a few races on it, but I don't know.
long, left 3.
The problem with iRacing is it's a game where you essentially have to wait around to play it. Like, they have races that you actually have to, like, join lobbies to and wait, and it's one of those where you gotta get into doing setups on cars, and you know, I know that's a big thing with sim racing, but I can't be asked to set up cars, you know what I mean? I'm not that bothered about. I like just getting in cars and driving them. Yeah, I don't really want to piss about with spend 2 hours driving the same car around the same track, just messing with how much spring in my dampers I have, you know what I mean?
100, very long, hairpin left.
I know that, you know, you can obviously... I think people will actually give you lessons on how to set up a car and they want paying for it, which I find slightly comical. Yeah. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong in STSR. I do actually, to be fair, I think I've been offered someone to make me a setup for that at some point, so I might take them up on that. Almost all my viewers will have no idea what I'm on about. It's some sim racing touring car league thing I'm in on GTR 2. In case you're wondering, I'm doing very poorly. I'm driving a Mazda Zodiac 6 because it's the 1994 season. Yeah, not doing too hot. Then again, it's basically just a bunch of people that have been doing it forever, and then a few novice drivers, and I happen to be one of those. I'm still getting used to the wheel as well, which doesn't really help, and GTR 2 is a little bit of a weird game to sort of play in the modern era. Anyways, 6 seconds up on Mackinnon. We are not going to be beaten in the Corsica rally with 2 rallies to go. Are we even stoppable at this point? Who knows? All I know is I'm stoppable tonight. Oh, and it's Australia next as well. Perfect hunting ground. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. That's exactly what I like to say. We'll go ahead and save our progress. Because again, I'm so tired tonight for some reason. You can probably tell. So I won't continue on anymore. Cool, that definitely says Australia. Alrighty. So what have we got? Solberg, Mackinnon, Burns, driver Ericsson Signs. Solberg, Mackinnon, Burns, Ericsson, driver Gronholm. So we get 10 points. Burnsy picks up 4 points. Hyundai with 3. Cool. In terms of the standings, doesn't really do a whole lot. We are now on 120 points. Mackinnon okay, never mind. Mackinnon overtakes Signs, so they've got a point in it. Burns has still got a long way to go if he wants to be in with a chance of winning the title at the end in Great Britain, which I don't think he will be this time round, unlike IRL. Ericsson and Gronholm are tying, which, sure. And then everyone else is kinda there. Jesus still hasn't scored a point. So Subaru with 150 points exactly in the constructors. Then Ford, Mitsubishi, Peugeot, Hyundai scores 3 points to bring them up to 12. So they're actually semi-challenging Peugeot again. If Hyundai can beat Peugeot, that'd be kind of funny. Skoda gets 6th, although Australia and Great Britain could prove to be relatively useful for those cars, and Citroen still have 0 points. So yeah, there you go. Thank you all very much for watching. Join us next time for Australia. Until then, farewell.
You know the sorrow that my heart holds in, knowing just where my hopes and dreams are going. I won't let you be. Got up in a war that you are not part of. Eyes on this letter, your father with love.